Hi there. This is Danny Fitzgerald again with the Small Business Development Center for our Meet the Lender series. And today we get to have a conversation with Andrew Krone. So, Andrew, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, your background, as well as your organization?
Yeah, thank you, Danny. So my name is Andrew Krone. I'm Senior VP at Marble Bridge Funding Group, and I handle the sales and I work with the clients to educate them on our products. And I also do the underwriting as well and some other counseling as well to help the small business grow. Previous to Marble Bridge, which I've been here 20 years now, so I've been at this a long time. I had a pretty varied background. I've been everything from a department store buyer. So there I got to learn retail, wholesale, working with vendors and merchandising, but I've also worked with several manufacturers in my past background. So I've also had to work with thousands of small businesses around the US in that particular position, handled hundreds of salespeople working for me, and done sales, marketing, product development, and everything else that has to do with that type of position. And
So one of my next questions that I would have for you is why are you in small business lending?
So within the small business world, I've done all these positions and I've learned a little bit about each and handling those in my career. But there was an opportunity when Marble Bridge was a young company 23 years ago to join them to learn about receivable finance, purchase order finance, contract finance, and just finance in general, which is one piece that was missing from my career. And the opportunity came. I took the job, and 20 years later, I'm still at it. And part of the success was all the other background that I had. So it's like running your own business, all the things you have to deal with, all that, plus getting the finance piece. And so that's made me a really big asset with the clients that I brought in here. I've been able to counsel them and help them grow, take advantage of our products. And it's been a good fit.
That's fantastic. And so, you talked a little bit about that with, what Marble Bridge does, but really what types of small businesses best fit with your lending products? I mean, is this, a startup, service industry, et cetera, really what's the wheelhouse for you all?
So the easiest way to define it for Marble Bridge Funding Group and what we do out in our industry. And our industry is $1 trillion industry in funding small business in the US and around the world. We look for businesses that provide a product or a service to another business or government entity and invoices that government entity or a small business. Essentially, we're providing receivable finance, helping cash flow the business. So instead of them waiting 30, 60, 90 days, or maybe never, as some clients have experienced in getting paid, we're able to advance on the receivables. So if they take on the jobs, they can get the cash they need as fast as they need it to grow very rapidly. Within that range, we work with contractors, we work with software companies, we work with engineers, architects, staffing companies, truckers, almost everybody who is in that world of B2B or B2G at one time or another has the opportunity to use our type of financing. And because we can work with startups and companies and $60 million a year in revenue, and we're able to provide up to $5 million a month in funding, we don't stop a company from growing. We're there and our clients come in, they grow very rapidly in a very short period of time. And they love us because it's unlike anything else in the finance community, and they don't give up equity. So it's really a good deal for both parties.
That's great. Yeah. So, really can be able to help the small businesses. So in terms of some of the nuts and bolts, the basics of things. So what does the lending application and eventual underwriting process entail from your organization?
So typically when you're working with me, I provide probably about 2 hours of conversation with the client. We get to know each other. So like a bank or anyone else, I want to know the history of the client, where they were, where they are, and where they're going and what their needs are. With that information in hand, then I can educate them exactly how our business works. Something that isn't done a lot in our industry, but I spend a lot of time teaching them our model. Based on that conversation, both parties usually come to a realization that this is a fantastic fit. And if it is a fantastic fit, then we go forward with the application process. So at that end, we have a 2-page application. Page 2 is basically your signature. So most people can fill this out in 10 to 15 minutes. And then we gather the rest of the package. So like you would imagine with any financial institution, we're going to ask for, several years of tax returns, personal and business. We're going to ask for a P&L and balance sheet, AR and AP aging. We may ask to see some of the contracts you have to read it through. Sometimes we can make suggestions for you to help you even get a better contract put together by looking at the contract. We'll gather personal financial statements, 6 months of bank statements, the things that companies should look at in order to make sure it's a right fit for both of you. So we had our oral conversation. Now the documents tell the other story. And because I work with small business, I don't need to be seeing CPA audited financials. I mean, companies, everybody has a different level of what they're able to produce. But when we get these types of documents in, we know that they're done with a small business. We understand that. And we dive into the details to make sure we understand. And then if we can make recommendations, we're going to do that too to get them stronger. So that's what we usually do to get the deal in. Once it's on our desk and we're ready to go, usually within 5 working days, we have underwritten it, approved it through a credit committee, signed you up, and after signing, we can start working on the first funding and usually get those fundings out in 24 to 48 hours.
Okay, well, that's great. That's some good turnaround time. So, I mean, you talked about in some of that process, and I know you've worked with the small business development centers for a long time. Really, how does that help your clients as they apply for a loan with you?
So in working with the SBDCs, a lot of small businesses that when they are brought in by the SBDC or they're introduced to us or they come to us and they have some issues, I definitely want to introduce them to the SBDC because free consulting is something you can't put a price on. And rather than paying for a consultant to help you look at your financials, the financial guys at the SBDC are all very experienced. They can look at your package ahead of time. And so when I'm dealing with the SBDC and the client, I'm counting on them to be the first eyes and ears and really involved with the client to understand what they're doing and what they're doing right and wrong so the client doesn't make an error in submitting their package or doesn't understand something about finances. And so the SBDC consultants can come in and clear that, get it set. So when I get the package, it's usually all cleaned up, ready to go. And it just makes it very easy and quickly to process the application.
Well, that's great. I mean, I know my advisors certainly enjoy working with you in all of that process and helping out their clients. So what are quickly 2 tips you could give small business owners as we wrap up today?
All right, well, very simply, SBDC. So remember those words as well, and Marble Bridge Funding Group, MBFG as well. From the SBDC side, there isn't just only finance guys. There are marketing guys, there are experts that know how to do government contracting. Anything you could think of in small business, there's usually somebody there that you can consult with to help you get your business going at many different levels. So you may have 3 or 4 or 5 consultants working with you on different levels, all free. So I can't stress that enough. Take advantage of that. In today's world, that's the right dollar cost. The second thing is, and this is because of where I'm at, the thing that I see in small business is a weakness in the financial reporting. And I sort of alluded to that earlier. So the SBDC is there to help you do that. But you as an individual owner, most of the entrepreneurs out there in the world, you know how to sell your product, you know how to market it, you know where your clients are, you know what you're doing on that end. But a lot of them leave it to their bookkeepers and to others to sort of understand the financials. And you really have to become a financial expert. So anything you can do to learn that business better and work with the consultant at an SBDC will just make you 10 times better to be successful. And you'll stop making certain mistakes. They'll help you prevent that. And the other aspect of it is that you should understand finance. So we are one of the many levels of choices out there in finance for a business. Businesses that are growing rapidly fit our box the best. So there are different types of loans you can get, term loans, SBA loans, bank line of credit, the things that you're seeing in the marketplace today. If you haven't explored our world, invoice financing, purchase order financing, contract financing, you need to understand it. We've taken companies from $1 million to $5 million in revenue in 1 year. And there's virtually no other type of financing available in the marketplace that allows for that rapid growth without giving up any equity in the business. And our clients are very, very successful. We're very careful about who we bring in, but the ones that we bring in, they know it's the perfect fit, and we give them the tools. We say, all right, the money's here, go get the business. So that's would be the second thing. Understand your financial choices.
Those are great tips. I mean, that really is critical things that small businesses need to do. So, Andrew, I really appreciate you coming on for our Meet the Lender series with the San Diego and Imperial SBDC, and really appreciate you working with small businesses and certainly your passion for supporting small businesses as well.
Okay, thank you very much for the opportunity.